Alexander the Great had a long list of achievements. He single-handedly led his armies to victory across Persia, Asia Minor, Syria and Egypt. By the age of 25, he was given the title of the Great King. In the next 8 years, Alexander built an empire that stretched across 3 continents. But when Alexander the Great went up against the Pashtuns, he took an arrow in his leg and almost lost his life. This happened in the 4th century BC. The valor of the Pashtuns is legendary. And now, many centuries later, they're out to take on a new adversary, the Pakistani military. The Pashtuns are protesting decades of oppression. They're shaking the throne of these generals. Look at these pictures on your screen. This happened on Sunday, a long march by the Pashtuns. Thousands marched against the Pakistani army in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. For the Pakistan military, their worst nightmare has just come true. A grassroots campaign that challenges their grip on power. This is a civil rights movement in Pakistan. You may not find these images in the Pakistani media. They've largely ignored this because giving the Pashtuns a platform is challenging the military itself. The Pakistani media, you see, is censoring and blacking out even political leaders. What chance do these Pashtuns have? The people you see on your screen are supporters of the Pashtun Tehfooz movement, the PTM. They're also known as the Pashtun Protection Movement. They came to prominence in the year 2018 and their campaign has been gaining traction since. It began in Waziristan, a remote town along Pakistan's border with Afghanistan. The PTM tapped into the anger of the Pashtuns, the discrimination they faced, the violence perpetrated by Pakistan-backed Taliban, and the anger against the military. The Pashtuns hold the Pakistani military responsible for the death and displacement of thousands of people. They say they're treated as second-class citizens, an ethnic minority denied even the basic rights in Pakistan. The Pashtuns are fighting for their right to life. And the Pakistani army wants to suppress their campaign. The protest has got the attention of the world, and despite a media blackout, they found support within Pakistan. We've seen 3 major protests that shook up the Pakistani military establishment in the past few years. In February 2018, the PTM staged a sit-in protest in Islamabad, followed by demonstrations in all major Pakistani cities. Almost a year later, hundreds of young men and women marched in Lahore. They had 3 demands: freedom of expression, respect for the Constitution, and civil rights. The rally was called Citizen Protection March. 2 months later, tens of thousands of people demonstrated in North Waziristan. All of these rallies had one popular slogan: the uniform is behind all the terrorism, they said. The Pakistani army is not used to such opposition at home. What did it do? It blamed the invisible foreign hand. It's an old tactic to discredit a domestic opponent. In February last year, Afghanistan's President Ashraf Ghani tweeted a statement. He was concerned about the violence during peaceful protests in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan. An activist had died in a police crackdown. Here is how Pakistan responded. It said the protesters were being, quote-unquote, manipulated by hostile external elements. They even went to the extent of calling this a 5th-generation warfare. This is classic Pakistani military. It believes Pakistan is always in a state of war because Pakistan is a security state. When a threat to the army, in fact, is considered a threat to the entire country. And the Pashtun protests pose a direct challenge to the military establishment. The military is rattled, and with good reason, because this is how movements begin. When thousands of people take to the streets despite threats to life, this is how dictators are dethroned. Pakistan is witnessing an uprising.